2, 1. Thank you guys for listening and welcome back. For everyone that is listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, we are not in the studio today. I am actually on site here at Legion Iron with some pretty kick-ass people. And we're going to talk about what's going on with the gym, who the new owner is, who's sticking around, who's coming in. Because I know I've got you guys, a lot of people have asked, a lot of people have emailed about what's going on with the gym, and a lot of this is going to be just answering some questions people have. So before we start, let's kind of just go around, starting with you, Shawn. Who you guys are, what your role is in the gym.
My name is Shawn Kocab. I'm the new owner of the gym.
Awesome.
I'm Natalia Rael. I am a fitness trainer. I do online and personal training. I've been here since the beginning of time, so happy to be back.
And I'm Freddy Sandoval, also a fitness trainer and an MMA coach. So starting new here with the new beginnings. I'm looking forward to where we go.
Awesome. And thank you guys again for coming in and doing this. I know that you guys have seen from between the podcast page and then talking one-on-one, especially you, Natalia, that this is a gym with a lot of history. I know for the both of us, we have a bit of more personal connection to the place, knowing the previous owner, Garrett. So I've been really looking forward to sitting down together, talking about this, and really, cherishing what we've got going on here, what you guys have got going on. Really, I'm just a spectator. You know what I mean? I get to go to my favorite gym still, and I'm very, very thankful that this place is still open. You know, I really am. So let's start, I think, with the most obvious question for Shawn. Prior to the very short closing of the gym that happened, how long had you been training here? And then when did it start? When did the idea come in your head that maybe you want to become the owner?
Well, I never really had the idea about becoming the owner, but I was training here for about 2 years. I didn't know Garrett that well. I've talked to him a few times. He told me a funny story about him and John Jones. I won't get into that. But, I just fell in love with the gym. It just reminded me of what I grew up in, kind of old school, kind of gritty, But Garrett, he was always really friendly with me. And I actually wanted to talk to him about possibly opening up a jiu-jitsu portion of the gym because that lounge area was never really being used. And I love jiu-jitsu. I've been doing it for a very long time. But then he, a few weeks later, he passed away, and I was here the day it happened. And, they were letting us in the gym. We weren't even sure what was going on. But then I went outside and I saw him. It was pretty tragic. And again, I wasn't even thinking about owning a gym. But, as I was driving home after that happened, I was like, I wonder what's going to happen. I was like, I hate commercial gyms. And I just didn't want to see this place close down. So I reached out to Serena, and she gave me the number of his family. So I talked to them. I was like, listen, I really want to just keep the gym open. I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to take advantage of a bad situation. I just love what Garrett built. I'm not really looking to change it. I just think it could be improved upon. I just want to see it to its potential because I just think this gym has a lot of it. But again, the way it happened was so weird. I actually got to know his family a bit during the time. They were super helpful. They were very happy that we're going to keep his legacy alive. We are going to erect a memorial for him over by the turf, and it's going to be kind of a tribute, and that's going to be there because, I'm just a guy keeping it open. I'm not really the true owner of the gym. I just want to see it stay alive. So.
I don't think you could ask for a better answer. And I say that because so for everyone listening that's maybe new to this podcast, I speak to my guests beforehand about doing this, obviously, but we don't talk about what I'm going to ask. We don't talk about what I want them to say or what they probably should say. But I think that for anyone who knows about the place, cares about the place, and cared about Garrett, that's just about as perfect of a mindset that people could ask for with a new incoming owner. And I know, and it's the truth. And I know that a lot of people messaged me about it, asking like, well, is it going to change? Provided it stays open, is this place going to change? I know that's a fear that I had for a little while when we were in that place of limbo of like who's going to take over. And I definitely want to get into how really talk about a little bit about how you two got into connection and how you were coming back. And again, you were the first trainer to ever work at the place, and I think it's great that you reached out to his family first. And you're right when you say that you don't want anyone taking advantage of a bad situation. I'm proud to announce that the podcast is now officially sponsored by the fine people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, this is some of the best chili you can get here in the state of New Mexico, and they are online as well as in stores. They can be found at Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts, John Brooks, and Lowe's Corner Market. They have 3 amazing flavors that you see here, and they also have frozen green chili that you can get online. Go on over to the website, chopchilico.com, and get yourself some amazing chili today. Because I'm sure that there were a lot of people that had that because, you know, not every person is exactly amazing, and a lot of people have ulterior motives. So,
Well, I mean, his family told me, like, when I called them, they're like, yeah, we've already had several calls from people wanting to invest in the gym. But they were saying they weren't really serious about it. They just want to throw some money out there and maybe they can get the gym, I guess. I don't know. But they did get, they did get multiple offers before I even called. You know, I wanted to give it some time. I gave it about at least 2 weeks before I even contacted them. You know, and I still don't think that's really enough time. You know, but I did know that gym was in danger of closing, so I had to jump on it.
Yeah, and I don't think there's ever a real perfect time to ask that question, but there is definitely poor taste in doing it in the first 72 hours. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that they got a lot of people that did that exact thing. So you end up becoming the owner of the gym, and when you looked around, like I know as a long time comer of the gym, and you've been here a while, there was obviously some love this place needed, right? What was your plan going into revitalizing the gym? Not changing it, because again, for people listening on like the audio services, I encourage you to check us out on YouTube, because we're sitting in an actual octagon, and we'll get into why there's an octagon in the gym now. But the look of the place has not changed. It's still Legion Iron. It's still the vision that Garrett had when it first started. But when you also look around, there's a lot of love. I think aside from the octagon, the biggest change is the red turf, and I think it looks fucking awesome. It was bright as shit when I first walked in here. I was like, oh my God.
Right? Oh,
Like Christmas.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that is red. Like, that's not like blood red. That is like bright, like Crayola red.
That was the closest red we could get to the logo.
But it looks great. You know, it looks great. So when you came in, when you looked around, what were some of the first things like, okay, here's what we have to do, and it started just rattling off in your brain?
Well, I mean, first of all, space was the biggest issue. I mean, everything looked nice and organized, but there's just so much space not being utilized. You know, we have this big metal thing. I don't even know what that is. I call it the metal contraption. I don't know.
Oh, the big jungle gym?
Yeah, the big jungle gym thing. And, you know, we're like, God, this doesn't really need to be that big, you know. So me and Freddie took it apart. And then I bought this other big metal rig that hangs punching bags. And I bought that for my sister in Las Vegas. And so I was like, God, we're going to have 2 big metal things in here. And we're like, why don't we just kind of tear that one down a little bit and add the punching bags to that one? Right. You know, I mean, just space was just not being used, that lounge area, right? I mean, it had cardio machines in there, but most of them didn't work. We had a broken mirror in there that people were using for posing. So now we're like, you know what, let's create a posing room. So now we're creating a posing room, you know, because we had 3 showers at the end of the hallway, never being used. So it was like, okay, let's demolish 2 of them, turn it into a posing room, because apparently that's what people like. I didn't even know what a posing room was until I talked to, I think I talked, you know, Allie. I think I talked to her. A few fitness models like, yeah, I get a posing room. I was like, okay, I can, you know, do that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much more room. I mean, even right now, I mean, as soon as we moved that big metal thing, the jungle gym, we still got all this other space for at least 6 more machines. So, I just ordered a bell squat. A lot of people are excited about that.
And for people listening that don't know what a bell squat is.
Actually, I just learned what it is too. So it's a platform. Hey, Freddie, how about you explain it? Because he's the one that got me into it.
It's a platform, and it runs a cable underneath, so you don't have to squat with a bar on your back.
The mic a little closer.
So there you go. So it's got a platform, and then you wrap a lifting belt to your waist, and then it hooks to a cable that goes underneath the platform up and around to where you can put your weights. You can put bands on there. You can take off the arms on the side of the platform. There's so much stuff you can do. But what it does is it alleviates a lot of back pain, a lot of knee pain. If you have hip problems, it will strengthen your hips. It helps build your knees. It helps your balance, coordination. The thing's wonderful, and there's a huge variety of stuff you can do, from fitness to powerlifting, on top of everything.
It just sounds like a safer way to squat.
It's a safer way to squat, to deadlift, to do anything. You can do good mornings on there, and it's just preventative measures for the body.
That's pretty sick.
Oh, it's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
And so that was the mindset going in physically, but the style of the gym, the number one thing this gym has really been for is powerlifting. So obviously powerlifting is a very niche community still with social media and Instagram. Powerlifting is still more of like a subculture than a widespread, very like mainstream thing, I guess you could say. So how do you keep the essence of the gym as a powerlifting gym, but at the same time you make it appeal to more people?
Well, that's the trick, right? Because when Garrett passed away, we lost a lot of members, like at least 100. And we're like, well, it was the legacy members pretty much keeping us alive. So we couldn't push them out. We couldn't change it so much that, they feel betrayed. A lot of them are his friends, and a lot of them, because we had so many people cancel and want refunds for like the first 2 months before he died and even after. So we actually made sure all the people that didn't cancel and get refunds, that they got a few months free while we figured things out, because we had to negotiate with the landlords for even 2 months, but they were kind enough to give us the keys just to open right away. But my goal was never to really, like I said, never to really change his vision. It's still going to be primarily a powerlifting gym. It's always going to be that. That's going to always be the focus. But we always... Oh, sorry. But we always wanted to, just offer things for everybody. One thing me and Freddie talked about, I used to train a lot of MMA and jiu-jitsu. The thing that sucks about that is you go to your school, you train, then you got to go drive somewhere else to a gym, and then you got to train there, and it just sucks to do that. It's nice to have everything all in one place, And, we also got to, this gym is very primarily men, but we really got to appeal to the female community too. So we bought a bunch of treadmills, because I started asking people, so what do you guys want?
I like treadmills too, man.
Well, but that was one thing that they really wanted, and they wanted Stairmasters too, but those are unbelievably expensive. So we'll get those eventually. But that's why we also started offering fitness classes too. I got a hip thrust machine, more glute focused machines. I use those, but those are very popular with females too. But I am trying to make everybody feel welcome here, but I definitely don't want to lose focus of what this gym has always been about.
No, and again, I think that's something that a lot of, not only people that are still sticking around for the gym, but people because a lot of people, unfortunately, probably heard about the place for the first time after Garrett's passing. Mm-hmm. So being able to get that information out is super important. Let's talk about how you guys started working together, and then we're going to get into the fitness programs, and then, again, the female aspect of the gym. I think that's important as well, like you just said. How did you guys get into contact with each other, and then how does powerlifting meet MMA here?
How did we get it?
You called me.
Yeah, I called him. I called him. I had heard about this gym a long time, on and off, on and off. I've driven by a million times, but I never knew what it was, but I would hear about it, but I didn't know it was the same place. And then I heard about Garrett's passing, and I was curious to see what was going to go on with the gym. And I was looking for a place to expand also, so I called, and we sat and talked. I think our first phone call was pretty lengthy. Like, we hit it off real quick. We're both jiu-jitsu guys, fight guys, and family guys first, So that's where it started. And for me, I train the normal everyday person. I got away from just training athletes to help people accomplish their goals. And that was a lot of things I heard about this gym is, yes, it was based on powerlifting, but it was people coming here to become better versions of themselves. Everybody wanting to become better, stronger, faster, not just be big and badass, And I see it, the different people that come in through these doors now. You wouldn't look at some of these guys on the street or girls and think, oh, that they go to a powerlifting gym. So the notion that all powerlifters are big people, I don't think it fits true. But bringing it into MMA, I think it's important. Because the training that it involves, it will help the fighters and the competitors, not just MMA, just regular jiu-jitsu practitioners. It will help them be more physically capable, just because of the type of core stuff you have to do with the powerlifting. And I'm still getting new to all this. I'm not familiar with all these different bars and stuff. Everything I do is a lot of body weight stuff and kettlebells, calisthenics. But I just think I think the two go hand in hand really well. Like he said, you get out of the gym at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you're like, shit, I still need to go lift. It's 15 minutes away. You're going to get in your car, and then you're going to pass the freeway. I'm just going to go home. I'll go tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, and you do it again. And so you never go. So being able to put everything under one roof, I think is very appealing. And it's going to change the dynamic of this city, I believe.
Yeah, and honestly, like, even if we didn't have MMA here, I'd still want the cage here because everybody loves this cage.
Yeah, it's cool. And
Yeah.
it matches.
It belongs. Everybody says, like, it belongs here. And, there was a DJ booth there, and we're like, I know Garrett was really into that stuff, but I'm not a DJ.
Yeah.
And I know he would have raves sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good example of doing what's needed for the gym. And there is everyone has respect, and you're obviously respecting his legacy, and you're obviously keeping this gym as what it was, and doing something like this elevates it. It's very much in the spirit of it. One thing that I feel like is really coming back, and since you're coming back as well, is the personal training side of things. You and I met for the first time, I believe, when you were here at like 5 in the morning, because I would see you training all your clients when I was in prep. So before we even get into you coming into Legion, how long you've been personal training? What's your mindset when doing it? Because you bring up a good point where you say, well, I don't just train athletes, so I really move away from training. I train the everyday people. And that's what I felt so shocking, or what I found was very shocking about a lot of your clients, is you would look at them, and this is not a negative, but it's just I doubt you go to a black and red themed powerlifting gym in downtown Albuquerque,
Right.
where there is no AC, there is no heating, and you look at in this place and you think someone probably has gotten buried under the fucking building, right? So the fact that you train everybody, right? How long you've been training people? What's your mindset behind training? And then how did you find Legion in the first place?
So I first found Legion. Garrett reached out to me when the gym was about to open, and he asked me to be the gym's first sponsored athlete. And of course I said yes. I was super excited when I came to check out the gym because it's like no other here in Albuquerque. And I fell in love with it right away. I started training here officially after the pandemic. So I started my online coaching, and then I came back to train full-time here at Legion, and I just started bringing people in. I started running classes. I started just, having my full morning from like 5 a.m. till 11, 12. And it was a second home. This place has a special place in my heart. And when I got actually in touch with Shawn, Luis was the one that had gotten us connected. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to be coming back. You know, I was pretty devastated. But when Shawn got on the phone and he mentioned like nothing's going to be changing, it's, you know, everything's going to stay the same. It's just, yeah, I kind of had to, you know. I love this place so much, and I just respect everything that you're doing, and I appreciate what you're doing here, because it's awesome. And to see the gym living out to its full potential is going to be just so badass. It's amazing.
We are going to have heat, by the way.
Yeah. That's the thing, too.
I paid the gas bill.
Yeah.
So this winter, we're going to have heat. You know, it's funny because my wife is part owner, too. And when we were training here, I got convinced her to train here. It was great. But then when winter rolled around, because Derek didn't run the heaters, she quit.
I was actually really grateful and thankful. Like, you know, I had a lot of people in here in the wintertime, and we were in here in our sweaters, sweats, hoodies, and we were killing it. But it really, it was rough, you know, just can't let yourself cool down, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it was good.
No, quality of life is important.
Yeah.
We are in 2023,
Yeah,
and
it does.
heating is nice and AC is nice, but you know, because there was two mindsets with that, and I think it's important, you know, not just as someone, because I would tell, I still do, as many people as I can about the place, but I'd imagine as an owner, that is something that, regardless of how you feel about things, it's what appeals to the consumer the most. And because I'm right there with you, I don't mind slapping on a sweater and wearing shorts because you heat up eventually, and just training, right? I actually kind of prefer training in the winter because of that, right? I'm not the dude that takes off his shirt. Maybe you are because you're jacked as shit, but I'm not, right? So I love training in the winter. But then at the same time, most people aren't of that mindset.
Right.
It's challenging
Right.
today to get people in the gym.
Period.
And then it's even
Yes.
more challenging to get them into a training facility that maybe is, especially at the time, you know, it's, again, you don't have AC, or you don't have heating during the winter. So are they going to go to a place like this where they're probably going to end up training harder either way? Or are they going to go to Defined? Like, no shade to gyms here in Albuquerque, but I've been to Defined, I've been to Choose, I've been to Sports and Wellness. 9 times out of 10, people will go, hop on the treadmill, hop on the Stairmaster for 5 minutes, go do the little circuit and split, and then just go through the motions. And what sold me on this place and sold me on Garrett's mindset when he was still alive was he told me that, you know, when you come here, you're coming here for yourself, right? You're not coming to show off. Like, sure, if you're the guy that can show up and pull, you know, 5, 6, 7 wheels, that's awesome. Like, that's badass. But if you're coming to do it right now, no one's going to see you, right? If we weren't shooting right now, nobody's going to see you pull all that weight. You're doing it because you know you can, and you're doing it for yourself.
Right.
And so really selling anything you can do to sell this place better is obviously going to be a benefit.
Another thing was Garrett was always really good about, you know, having women in here and making everybody feel really comfortable. There was no, like, you know, getting creeped on or anything like that. You know, it was a really respectful place, and it's always been that way. You always get that feel. It's never uncomfortable. You're never, like, worried about anybody messing with you. You know, so for women, it's a great place to come and to get strong, you know. So
how do you? I've been meaning to find an in on this conversation, ask you that question, because how do you, when you approach your clients, what is your mindset in telling them, like, it's okay to be a strong woman, like physically strong? Because I feel like a lot of, at least in the culture today, it's if you're going to go to the gym as a woman, you're going to do cardio, you're going to do legs. Maybe they'll do some pull-ups, maybe they'll do some push-ups, but it's rare to see a woman deadlifting. It's
Right.
rare to see a woman bench pressing.
Right.
So, but obviously you know how important that is to your overall health, to not neglect these muscle groups. So how do you approach that with your clients, and what can clients expect when they work from you, or work with you? Sorry.
One thing I like to mention, especially in the world that we're living in today, because things are a little bit more crazy, is that the stronger you are, the more muscle you have, you know, you're not struggling with all of these different health problems and things like that. Because the main thing I focus on is getting my clients healthy from the inside out. And so, but that being said, like, I always like to mention, you know, the stronger you are, the less vulnerable you are in the world, especially if you have kids and things like that. You know, you want to be able to be strong, and you know, the stronger you are, the more capable you are of even, like, you know, carrying all your groceries inside by yourself, just doing different tasks, daily tasks that are, you know, not always easy if you have health problems and things like that, especially with COVID, you know, being like a big thing now. Now's the time to really not just focus on, obviously everybody wants to look good, but our health is the most important thing. And if you focus on getting healthy now from the inside out, then when COVID comes or this virus comes or, you know, whatever, you're ready for it. You're not having to worry about, you know, as much.
Well, no, that's a very good point to make, and I think, because I obviously have no interest in getting political about it, but I think what we can all agree on is that, unfortunately, you know, the number one groups of people that were affected by the pandemic were people, of course, you have pre-existing conditions, and that's, you know, that's unfortunate. Obviously, you should still take care of yourself anyway to help mitigate things, but
Right.
it was individuals that weren't healthy.
Right.
And that is really what the demographic of individuals that got afflicted the most. And so I think, and again, I've seen you train firsthand. The people that come here that are going to get personal training, they're getting the one-on-one approach, and it's not like a generic. It's very curated, right? It's meant for them as people, or as a person, rather, and that's what they're going to be able to get and expect here is a one-on-one experience. And again, it's helping them grow from the inside out. So that's awesome.
Right. And I really like to, you know, let them know, like, we're getting healthy from the inside out. That means you're going to know exactly when you're going to eat, when you're going to go to the gym, when you're going to wake up, when you're going to go to sleep, things like that. That way, when you do get busy, you know, it's a non-negotiable. It's just part of your day, just like brushing your teeth, you know. So.
You know, you know, actually, personal trainers were actually one of my biggest things I wanted to get into the gym, right? Because I know, I mean, they bring in clients, right? And we need a certain amount of clients to survive, right? And we're still behind our numbers, but I just really wanted to reach out to personal trainers because, I mean, they know what they're doing. You know, I've seen people come in here and they don't have a clue. I'm like, I had to go over there and correct them because they're going to hurt themselves, you know. But I've actually talked to several personal trainers, you know, and I'm somewhat undercutting the other gyms as far as like what they charge rent and stuff like that, because I do want to build kind of a team. I mean, obviously they're not employees and they're still going to do their own thing, but we are going to be marketing for personal trainers. We're going to put their profiles and their bios on their website. We're going to blast them on social media. I want to actually talk to them about, you know, creating some kind of video about what they offer, because I mean, if you're going to put your health in a personal trainer's hand, like, you should really know them. You know?
Well, it does nothing but build trust and be a net positive.
Right.
Right? You don't want to be training with a faceless person at all. So I think that's great. And then going back to the MMA side of things, and let's say like fighting in general, what kind of stuff are going to be going on at the gym classes wise?
I think we're still working through that. Right now, I brought a team with me, a full team of amateurs. Some have not fought yet. We still have some brand new people. So we're doing some training at 6 o'clock Monday through Thursday, and then Saturdays we do some sparring. For those who aren't familiar with any of it, on September 30th for the re-grand opening, we are going to have some of the guys doing some full-on sparring, just to give the people in the community a feel for what actually goes on. A lot of people watch UFC nowadays, right? It's more accepted. And this is why I don't go to Hooters, or I don't go out to watch the fights no more, because you have somebody sitting there like, well, get up, get up. The person's a trained professional. If they could have gotten up, I promise you they would have got up. Let me put you in the corner, slap you with some wings, and see if you can get up.
He's not that strong. Just stand up.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's
just
not
stand
trained
up.
for 10 years. Yeah. So it drives me nuts. But this way people can see firsthand what it is. And you don't have to be a fighter or want to get hit. There's plenty of people out there that want to train just to do it. Like she said, we want our women to get stronger, right? So they can feel more confident and they can carry their groceries and carry their kids at the same time, right? We also want them to be able to defend themselves, because we are in a shitty city,
Yeah.
you know, a terrible, terrible city. There's a lot of violence and crime that goes on, and, you know, are the drug addict people gonna worry because she looks in shape and muscular, before they attack her, or are they gonna go for the less looking, tougher woman?
Don't be a soft target.
Exactly. So we want, and if you look like the soft target, we want to make sure that you make them think twice when they touch you. So we're still putting all that together, but I think we're in the works in agreements that we'll have beginner type classes, and then more advanced stuff for the people that do want to get punched in the face.
Well, see, I think what people don't really understand, and admittedly I didn't really until I started training boxing at the end of my high school and then into college a little bit, is fighting, training for any type of combat sport is not just punching and kicking.
Nope.
It is a shit ton of cardio. Yep. It is a shit ton of calisthenics. Discipline. And then funny thing, one of my best friends, he's an amateur bodybuilder from Mexico. He lives in the States now, but he also, when we were in high school and college together, he did boxing, and he did like the whole Golden Glove circuit like 4 times, and he used to fight in Mexico as well. And a big part of my prep when I was in my first bodybuilding show was boxing training.
Shredded.
Because the amount of cardio and the amount of just movement that is required from that type of training. So it makes, because of that logic, it makes perfect sense to me why this is, it should be a powerlifting gym first and foremost, but you got to be able to control your breath to get that weight up. You got to have proper core strength to, take care of business. So it makes perfect sense to me that fighting and powerlifting should meet here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good of a fighter you are if you can't last 30 seconds.
Right.
Yeah, if you just gas out.
Yeah. The boxing class we're going to have here is actually developed by my sister. Me and her used to be both pro box. That was a long time ago. I'm old. But so she had a gym in Vegas, and this was before COVID. But so after COVID, it got shut down, and she had all the equipment. Like I said, I bought the bags from her. But she still has an online program, so it's actually called Fit Zone. And I am going to try, I haven't even talked to her about it yet, but she is going to be here for the grand opening. I want her to actually showcase it because I am going to be teaching the boxing classes, but it is actually her curriculum. And, her whole focus was obviously women first because, she's a woman and she taught mostly women, but she started having a lot of guys come in too. So it's a pretty hardcore program, and I think it's going to be pretty cool for a lot of people.
So have you guys, well, first of all, I want to say you actually working in the gym outside of just being the owner, that still is perfectly in line with what this place was. Half the fun of coming here, especially even if you weren't friends with Garrett, a lot of the appeal of coming here is, okay, we know what Legion Iron is, a powerlifting gym. Oh, you can actually talk to the owner. Mm-hmm. You can see the owner. Mm-hmm. He walks around, he trains. Granted, it took that guy like 3 hours to get through a lifting session because everyone wanted to talk to him because he was just that guy. But it was the ability to actually see the owner. You put a face to the name, you become more attached to it, and you feel like you just said, it's like a second home now when you want to show up and train. You feel like you're not just going from, okay, I just got off of work, fuck, now I got to go to this other, like, not foreign place, but this other place I don't really want to go to, but I kind of have to go because I know it's good for me, and I want to eat Whataburger tonight, so I kind of got to go train. No, it's like, okay, I just got out of my job. I get to go and do something fun at a place that I enjoy, and then I get to go be with my family, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Or you eventually bring your family here with you, right? So I think that again, that only adds the appeal and to the, how do I say it, like the wholesomeness of the place, right? Mm-hmm. The likability, because again, I think what's good about that too is, being in New Mexico, for all of its flaws, one of the big positives is the Hispanic culture of being focused on family so much. Mm-hmm. So like you said, being able to build a team and being able to build a real community, and now you're going to be able to build a bigger, not better, but just a bigger community that reaches further with what you guys are doing here. Again, it's only a net positive.
Well, I think the community aspect is probably the most important thing. Like last night, there were a bunch of guys here, and I just had this idea. I was like, what if we organized like a Legion Iron paintball tournament, right? And we just do that every month, right? We get a bunch of people from Legion Iron, we just go shoot each other with paintball or whatever, And everybody wanted to do that. I just think that would be fun, and that's, or just even having competitions. Me and Freddy even talked about just having some smoker fights here. We can move some equipment, get some chairs, and people can come here and watch fights. You know, I mean, I think the community. I mean, I think if you serve your community will serve you.
I mean, if they're able to move all the equipment to throw on raves, I think we can move
Yeah.
a little bit to throw a fight, you know.
Yeah.
But I say that last part again, 'cause that was perfect. The community wants to serve you.
You serve your community, the community will serve you.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to put it. If you guys haven't really sorted out how you're gonna format the pricing, that's okay. But 'cause I know with a lot of gyms, you pay $30, $40 a month for a membership, and then you tack on an extra $80 for boxing and fighting classes, and it gets absolutely exuberant with some of the prices here in town. Because like you're bringing up earlier, right? It's like you go to a you go to your weight training gym, then you go to your fighting gym, and that's what's kept me away from going back to boxing for so long. 'Cause I don't have time, especially now, doing this full time, working full time, and then keeping myself in shape, and just being a human for at least 5 minutes a day before I go to bed. Like, I don't have time to be hopping between gyms. So will there be auxiliary pricing plans, or have you guys still figured out how you're going to do the boxing with the regular membership at the gym and fighting and stuff like that?
So we were just talking about this. We are going to have some kind of more expensive membership that includes everything. We'll still have that standard, $45 a month membership. We are doing special plans with our personal trainers. Their clients get very special discounts. But if we're going to be doing fitness classes, we got to pay the trainers. It's not going to be much more. It's maybe like an extra $10 a month or something like that. Or maybe
That's a
20.
steal, by the way, for anyone who's ever tried doing an all-inclusive package at a gym.
Yeah.
That is a fucking steal.
Most drop-ins are 10 to 15 per class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just for the hour-long
one
course.
class, not a whole month. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we also want to get I'm thinking and this is still just a thought, but anybody who joins with the classes, we're going to get like our own branded boxing gloves or probably MMA gloves, maybe shin pads, stuff like that. And, maybe we'll come with a membership or something like that. Plus a t-shirt.
I mean, it's a damn good logo.
Yeah.
It's a cool name.
Yeah.
There have been people that have called just driving past on the freeway asking if they can get a T-shirt from the gym just because they like the logo.
It's extremely marketable.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of guys have tattoos on it. Like a lot of guys that I've been training with new, and I'm like, the hell's that on your leg? That looks like something that would. And so it just tells you what's been put into this place. The guys are willing to tattoo it on them. Seeing somebody's tattoo, we're not going to just put anything on us. So to see that, it's something serious, and it's awesome.
I was this firefighter brought his son here just the other day, and I was just giving him a tour. And I was talking about, I was like, we're still doing renovations, we're still cleaning up and stuff like that. And I was like, but we are kind of like a gritty gym, right? And he's like, yeah, that's what we love about it, because my wife was like, yeah, we should paint the walls and the outside and all that. I'm like, no, that's what people like, right? We got kind of have that kind of prison yard feel.
Well, it's no bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, I mean, again, I hate to talk shit, but that's kind of why Planet Fitness exists. Because people either hate commercial gyms because they're scared of the people inside of them. So you go to a Planet Fitness where they actually discriminate against bodybuilders and powerlifters, or they still go to the commercial gyms because they can kind of just zone out and not really put in that much work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm just speaking generally. Right, generally speaking, they go and they just do their circuits and they move on. And it's great that you're moving and it's great that you're doing something. But let's just talk money. Would you rather spend, I think sports and wellness right now is $80 a month. It's like 75.
Last I checked.
Yeah, it's like 70, 85 a month. And I get it. Like, they have a pool, they have a sauna, fine, great. But would you rather spend the money there? And then maybe if you're going to get a personal trainer there, you're going to drop $200, $250 a month.
Oh, yeah.
Or are you going to come to a place like this where it's no bullshit, there's no flashy lights, there's no fucking, the big thing I love about this place, there's no TVs. There's no screens.
Yeah. I think Choose has a movie theater now, right? Yeah.
My point exactly. You don't need,
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to go to the gym and watch a movie. And again, I'll hop on the cardio machine and listen to a podcast all day. That's that's one thing. But going to the 10 o'clock showing of the rom-com at the gym, I respect the business hustle. I respect the shit out of that. Whatever works, fine. But at what point do you start becoming a country club? And this is a real training facility for everybody. And I think that's the important part people need to hear. We've said it a couple times. Everyone comes here. Even for the past 4 or 5 years, the place has been open. Everyone comes here.
I can see, having the movie theater and, people want to watch TV while they're doing their cardio, but it's kind of the opposite of why you go to the gym. You're not supposed to be comfortable. We're here to really get it done, get things done.
Break out of your comfort zone.
Break out of your comfort zone. And I mean, a lot of times you look and people are going just very slow pace walking, not saying that that's bad or anything, but then you leave and you're kind of like, did I even work out? Opposed to coming in and really seeing other people lifting, some serious weight. It's really motivating.
Yeah. I mean, there's something about, I actually didn't even want the heating because I loved training here during the cold, right? You warm up, you work out in the sweatshirt, you take it off, you got all that steam coming off you. You look kind of, like Goku from Dragon Ball Z or whatever. But I mean, it does challenge you. Even the guys last night were just saying, there's something about the colors in this gym that just motivate me, right? I actually, we are going to test out a new workout. It's called the Viking workout. It's going to be outside. It's just tires and sledgehammers and stuff like that. I'm working with the guy who's getting creative. We're going to test it out soon, but it is going to be in the cold, right? I'm from Montana, so that's what I grew up in, and I love that, fighting the elements, right? I actually hate the heat, but I like the cold, and there's just something about working out is more than just about improving your body, right? It's about improving your will, because your body eventually is just going to deteriorate over time, right? But your strength of will is going to last with you forever.
Strengthening the mind.
Yeah, exactly.
So you bring up a good point about working out outside. Are there any plans currently? Because for people that haven't been here, there is a huge empty lot outside. Obviously, it's for parking. No shit. For people typing in the comment section, it's a parking lot, dumbass. Okay, yeah.
You get it.
Yes, it's a parking lot, but there's also a huge space next to the Connex boxes. Is there any plans to, I know even Garrett was talking about that at one point and expanding out and building. Were there any plans to...
Well, pardon me. I don't own the building, so renovations has to be negotiated, obviously. And me and Freddie always talked about how we can expand that building all the way to that huge storage container. But until then, even the patio area, we want to turn into a dog run because people do like to bring their dogs here. But where that Viking workout is, it's going to be next to the storage container. And I was just looking at the space there, and I was actually just looking online for those Ninja Challenge obstacle courses.
Oh, like the Ninja Warrior stuff?
The Ninja Warrior, yeah. So I thought that'd be maybe in a year, be cool to have
That's
that.
Badass. So before we close out, obviously there is a big grand opening happening on the 30th. What is going to be going on at that time?
Well, we are going to showcase some of our workouts. We're going to have a deadlifting competition, the MMA fights. You guys all watch Breaking Bad? Remember the little kid Brock?
Jesse's stepson.
The kid that he poisoned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, him and his father actually helped us lay down turf.
Okay.
And they own Caveman Burgers, so Caveman Burgers is actually going to be serving food out there. But Ian is actually his name. He puts on classic car shows. And he was like, why don't we put on a classic car show here? He's like, I get 70 cars and 200 people. And I was like, well, that's a little much.
It'll be a car show.
Yeah,
it's not a grand opening.
It's not a car show with a gym. It's a gym with a car show, right? I was like, how about we do 20 classic cars, right? So we're gonna have classic cars there too. Because I guess that's pretty popular in Albuquerque, and I think it's gonna be a blast. Awesome. I think the competitions will be cool. We're gonna have a relay race with the push sleds, stuff like that.
Kick ass. And so for everyone listening, a date. So who all's going to be there for that? Will they be able to meet? Obviously, they'll be able to meet you two, but as far as the personal trainers that are going to be there, and because again, the gym doesn't need a huge staff, obviously, but what trainers and what staff members are going to be there for everyone to meet?
Well, I want to give, if a personal trainer has some kind of class they do want to showcase, I'm definitely willing to let them do that. Right now it's just a matter of coming up with a schedule and space for everything we're going to do. What was the question?
So who's gonna be putting it on? Who's gonna be here, like from the gym?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, me, my wife, Garrett's family's going to be here because they are going to help put up the memorial for him. We're going to put a picture up for him. I'm hoping we could put some of his trophies up there too. You know, and I want during that time it would probably be before the deadlifting competition because that was kind of his thing. And we're going to give people that were close to him a chance to, you know, say a few words. And again, I just really want people to know that it is his gym, and we do want to honor that and honor him.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for sitting down and doing this. I say it all the time, but I'm very selfish when it comes to this podcast. It's one of the only things in life I try to be the most selfish about regarding who I talk to and who I have on. And this was something I really wanted to do for a long time now. We're really looking forward to this. So thank you all for not only coming on and explaining to everyone listening what's going to be happening and how the gym is moving forward, but thank you guys for, in your own parts, especially yours is the biggest because you're owning the damn place. Thank you all for carrying on Garrett's legacy. It means a lot to a lot of people, and it's awesome. So I'm really excited for this place to open back up, and it's going to be a great fucking time. So September 30th.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. And I will put the time and the date and the address in the description for everyone to find. I'm sure there's going to be a million flyers between now and then. So, yeah. Thank you guys.
I really appreciate
thank you for
doing
having
this.
us.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Awesome. This has been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.